All right, I just noticed that I'm due to make a YouTube video. My apologies for being about a day late. Um, have been very busy working on Gail, the complete series. And what I have up at my website, right now my website is down. I don't know what happened, but I've let Zach Knight know about it. But what I have at my website is not going to be the final version. I've decided that my allergies have been acting up really bad too. Yeah, here where I live, allergens are a lot worse than in Florida where I used to live. And Brent, who is my doctor, he does have an MD, has prescribed Zyrtec for me. He told me to take it at the same time every day. I take it early in the morning. And he said, drink a lot of water, eat some oranges, and he told me take a cool shower in the evening. Apparently that helps with the fatigue from, I guess my histamine levels going up. And yeah, if you'll notice, Jesus let me know in August that he wanted me to write Gail, the complete series, and I've had a hard time getting into it. I'll be honest with you. I was just, because there were just too many strictures around what I could say, yeah, to make sure that I don't do stuff that weakens my Gail shield. And my Gail shield was really weak for like a couple weeks. And very recently, and my men thought that maybe I wasn't. I did break some of the Gail commandments, like I was getting back into my habit of hoarding things, and so I had bought. What happened was a new electric toothbrush that I didn't order came in as part of my package that I get through my health plan. And it just came in. It was some free stuff that I can get through my health plan. And I ended up using that and quit using my Sonicare. So I've got now an Oral-B Pro V, which I like better than the Sonicare. But I didn't get rid of the Sonicare because it was still working, or at least I think it was. I've had it like 15 years though. And finally I thought, you know what, I said, let's throw this out because I'm not using it. And I'm just kind of holding on to it along with all the toothbrushes that go with it. And I threw all that out, and the Gail Shield strengthened a little bit. And there were other items that I was thinking that I am going to be paring down. When you stay at a place, you can start hoarding stuff. So I will be doing that, and I'm going to try not to buy. It's kind of tricky because I don't have a car, and in the summer months, I don't like to go out later. I like to do my shopping really early, and without a car, without an air-conditioned car to travel around in the summer, shopping can be a bear after 8 o'clock, okay, here, because it gets really hot. And I don't like walking in heat, and it is a Gail commandment for me to walk 30 minutes a day, okay? Yeah, Jesus told me 30 minutes, so the way I handled it in Florida was I always went either late in the evening, close to sunset, or early in the morning. Excuse my allergies. Yeah, my allergies were so basically during the, I would say, late fall, winter, early spring, I take the bus a lot because walking out, after 8 o'clock is not bad. But if it's cold, I can bundle up. And yeah, the buses are heated. You might say, well, aren't the buses air conditioned? They are. The problem is I got to do my half an hour walk. I incorporate that into the bus trip. And walking to and from the bus stop, this time of the year, in the summertime here, after 8 o'clock is a bear. It is hot. I do not like it. So I would just prefer there are places that are within walking distance where I can get my grocery needs met and everything. And I can still take the bus, but I need to limit it to places where I can be home by around 8:30. Okay, and there are some places like that. So my summer strategy is to, without an air-conditioned car to travel in, is to shop early in the morning before it gets really hot. The bad part about that is this time of the year, the allergens are really bad. And about 2 weeks ago, in fact, you even saw it on the video, that was allergy coughing. I was coughing so bad from allergy that it was keeping me up at night. I mean, it was the postnasal drip, the coughing. I'm doing a lot better since I got on Zyrtec, okay? So I've learned my lesson. I found my old allergy records, and I am allergic to tree pollen, grass pollen, and ragweed. Okay, I got some allergy testing done like years ago, and apparently that is still a problem. Right now, the trees and the grasses in my area are very high. Okay, and yeah, like I used to sit underneath an oak tree outdoors to meditate. And last time about a week and a half ago when I tried that, I had such a bad cough spasm. I almost felt like I was going to throw up. That's from allergy, apparently. And yes, my allergy records say that I am allergic to oak pollen, okay? So I can't be sitting under any oak trees right now. I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to meditate underneath an oak tree when it's putting out pollen and I'm allergic to the pollen, okay? This just isn't going to work. How can you meditate when you're coughing so much you feel like you're going to throw up? So I had to quit that idea. You say, what are you doing for meditate? Well, you're not going to, I don't know if this is meditation or not, but I do have a beautiful view from my window, so I look out that. But I have to keep the windows shut because of all the pollen. So I also upped my filter. Fortunately for me, I have an AC heating unit that runs 24/7 like a fan. So if I put a good like HEPA style filter in there, it's almost like having an expensive air cleaner running in my apartment. You know, one of those allergy air cleaners. And so yeah. So I have to go out, I go out and buy, for this time of the year, I get a pretty good air filtration filter. I get one with about MERV 18. Yeah, it's really helping. But my allergies are so bad that even when I'm running the thing at high, it takes about a couple hours. Like if I open the door or open the window to let pollen in here, it takes a couple hours to clear out all the pollen. I'm really allergic to trees and grasses, and they are out really bad right now. I love my new location, but it's not as allergy friendly as where I lived before. Melbourne, Florida is a pretty good place for allergies, okay? Just, you might think, well, maybe you should move. No. It won't matter where I move. I actually went online and checked, and allergies are even worse in some places than here. Oh, something, I think Zach's letting me know looks like a technical issue. It's been fixed, but it may take a little while to show. Okay, Zach's letting me know about about the website, so they fixed it. So I have faith in him. He's really good with my website. I appreciate him. He's my dear friend. So let's get back to this. So where am I? Oh, I lost my place. Oh, here I am. Okay. Yeah, he just let me know on Skype. So yeah, and I thought, oh, you got to make a video. So, oh, believe you me, I'm so glad I went on Zyrtec. To be honest with you, I never knew allergies could be like this. I thought I was getting a fever. And Brent said, that's just hay fever. He said, allergies. I said, well, my temperature was 99.3. Isn't that a fever? He said, technically, that's not a fever. He said, the body temperature varies throughout the day, and usually when people go into the afternoon, it goes up. And I said, why am I so tired? He said, it's your allergies. And he was right. He was right. So he told me, you just need to, at first when I had that horrible cough spasm, I put myself on a cough suppressant, and Brent said, no. He said that could actually cause breathing problems if you take that on a long-term basis, he said, you need to stop that. And that apparently was violating the Gail commandments, you know. Yeah, whenever I take anything outside of allergy medicine and what was the other thing on the Gail commandment? I forget what it was, but I need to check with my doctor. If it's not prescribed by my doctor is Brent, he's a great doctor, went to UCLA Medical School, then it's a no-no as far as the Gail commandments. It has to be prescribed by my doctor. Anything that I take that isn't prescribed by my doctor's Brent right now. Though I have been going to a dentist. I had a root canal done here, and they're going to do a thorough cleaning. That appointment's going to be in October, thank God, because if we went right now, I would be sniffling and coughing so much it would probably interfere with the procedure. So, but my new oral Pro V or whatever Pro V is really helping me. I'm keeping my mouth as clean as I can. I floss with unwaxed dental floss. So, yeah, the allergies have greatly improved since I bought the new filter. See, I was using MERV 8, which isn't bad, but my allergies are so bad right now. I need almost like MERV 18. That filters out the finer pollens, and my allergies are so bad right now. Yeah, the grasses and the tree pollen is very high right now, and those two I am allergic to. Okay, I noticed in September I had a horrible headache, and the allergies in this area that I need to watch out for are ragweed, tree grass pollens, and I think there's something else. Yeah, but the tree and grass pollens are really bad right now, okay? Like I was doing fairly well in March. In March I was getting some stuffy nose, and the free AC filter that my apartment uses, which doesn't have any allergy filtration at all, it just wasn't working for me. So I went to the store and bought one that at least had MERV 8, and that helped. Okay, and that worked up until now. But starting around May, a new batch of pollen came in the trees and the grasses, and apparently that's a really big one for me. And oh, it was so bad. I mean, I decided to go higher than MERV 8 even when I was on Seroquel, the postnasal drip was like coming down a river down the back of my throat. I said, I need better filtration inside my apartment. As you can see, I'm not running the cleaner right now because when I make the AC right now, because when I make a video you can hear the blower in the background. But yeah, so I've been dealing with allergies a lot the past week. I didn't know you could get sore throat from allergy. That's why I thought maybe I caught something. But you can. Yeah, it was really bad. It felt almost like strep. And I said, you can get a sore throat from allergy? And Brent said, yes, you can. I said, it feels like my throat's on fire, like strep throat. He said, yep, that's allergy. He said, I did an exam on you, Gail, and what you have is allergy. And what's really, he's right, because when I got on Zyrtec, I've had like minor feelings of the burny sore throat, but it goes away, and it kind of comes and goes depending on the pollen count. The pollen count gets a little bit worse in the evening and early morning, okay? And that's when my symptoms are a little bit worse. I never knew you could cough too, and I was having a productive cough. So I thought, what am I getting? I said, did I catch something, a virus? And Brent said, nope. I said, well, why do I have a productive cough? Why am I coughing up mucus? He said, allergy can do that too. He said, like the trachea will put like a thin film of clear mucus to protect the lungs and everything from the allergen. And he said, that's what you're coughing. And he said, also because all the postnasal drip going down makes you cough as well. So I'm learning how to deal with allergies. So as far as my writing, I kind of like put it off. To be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. I have not, usually when Jesus tells me how to write, he gives me writing assignments that frankly to me are boring. I hate it. Gail Schuler, don't get weak as I said that, okay? Anyways, you might say, what's the reason? he always liked me when he was here. He always liked me to write about my life. He never seemed to be too crazy about my fiction writing. Though he did like Silver Skies, okay? Oh, by the way, I finished Silver Skies, okay? Yeah, I just figured out the ending. The version that I had in the 1990s is the best. You know, we could go get it. You'll have to get it through a traditional publisher. If you, I submitted it to Brent, and he's going through a traditional publisher from what I understand. If you want to find out where to get it, watch Gabriel Chana Fox News 00 on cable. Yeah. This is the way I like to write, okay? I do my best work when I don't have to focus on the publishing part, and I just write the story that's on my heart, okay? And that is what is getting me back into writing Gail, the complete series, just writing the story that's on my heart. In the 1990s, I worked on Silver Skies from the summer of 1993 to the summer of 1996, nonstop. And I was really into it. At that time, I did not have the internet. All I had was my computer, and I was reading writing instruction books, craft books, to get into it, and that works best for me. I would read the writing craft books to kind of like, I wanted to write professional level because Brent was in my life. I didn't feel comfortable about going to bed with him. Even I turned him down, and I was trying to make love to him with my writing, and I figured I was hoping that, and I was married, and I was hoping that I could get a measure of financial independence, possibly by being a professional writer, so that just in case something happened to my marriage and I had an opportunity to be with Brent, I wouldn't be on the streets, okay? And I decided, why not study for a field that would be compatible with what Brent does, and at the time he was a pure actor. I didn't realize he could be a doctor and everything. At that time, he wasn't a doctor. So I chose writing. And I also figured his courage to pursue acting, which is considered a risky, foolish field, especially with my family, and I think with his family too, inspired me to be true to some of my true talents, because I knew I was very good at English in high school. And I knew that if I studied writing, that I probably could be very good at it. It seemed like a natural talent for me, and I thought, why not perfect this and make myself really suited to be Brent's wife, if that possibility ever came up. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to be a professional writer, okay? And I also was trying to make myself worthy of being the wife of this big star. I thought, I want to be able to compliment him, help him maybe in his career, maybe I could write something he could act in. And that was my motivation part of my motivation for studying writing. And anyways, getting back into that mindset is helping me to improve my writing. If I approach my writing thinking about it as a manuscript, okay, and worrying about formatting it for publication, I get totally out of my zone. It ruins my writing. I can't even think that way, okay? I just can't even think that way if I want the writing to be any good. I've got to be totally focused on craft, the writing process, and putting on the page the vision that is forming in my heart and mind of the story. This only works if I don't have to worry about publishing. Yeah. I got to think of it as pure story and not worry about publishing. And what I did when I worked on Silver Skies is I would read the book to Brent in progress over the phone, just to share with him the writing inspiration that came to me. And and then just go back to the computer and write down the vision that was coming in my mind. I actually wrote something very good. And the part of the reason it was good is because I was focused on craft, focused on staying in the zone, and not at all, to be honest with you, it was a labor of love for me. I really didn't care if I made a penny from it. Though I thought, it would be nice if I could make it in writing, and so that I could, go be with Brent and maybe help him with his career. And our two occupations could kind of merge and we'd help each other out. And there are instances where writers and actors get married, So, that's what I was thinking. At the time I worked on Silver Skies, I didn't even know about Laurie McBride. So basically, I'm finding I cannot get into a piece of writing if the topics that I'm writing about don't hit me at my core, okay? And I think that's true of all writers. And basically, the topics that Jesus wanted me to stick to, which was the stuff happening in my life, I frankly didn't think was very interesting. You might say, I can't believe it, your life is really interesting. Maybe to you it is, to me, no. Let me tell you why it didn't interest me, because I find sex and violence boring. You got to remember, I lean strongly asexual, and it seemed like everything about my life was about rape, sex, and violence. And I thought, I don't want to write about this. I mean, this is boring. And to me, that's what I had to do to write Gail, the complete series. But I noticed my Gail shield was getting really weak, and it just occurred to me, maybe part of the reason is because I'm getting too involved in politics, and maybe I've totally forgotten about the writing project Jesus gave for me. I says, how do I get into this? I just can't get into this. I said, this is not a very interesting project for me, especially since I'm forbidden to discuss Jesus. If I do the Gail Shield weekends. So finally I've come up with a way. I thought, I know how. And I says, how can I write freely if I'm not allowed to discuss Jesus? And Jesus said he doesn't want to be discussed. So those are my allergies. I thought of a way out of this. I will only submit my writing to Brent. If there's something in there that's going to make my shield weak, or that they don't like, they can edit it. And Brent will decide, and he can consult with Buddha to how to publish it. So that's what I'm doing. And I better turn my AC back on and get that filter running because my allergies are acting up. So, yeah, I'm making progress. I've finished the first 2 short stories, but I'm not going to be publishing any of them through myself. No self-publishing. When I'm done, I will give them to Brent and let him decide how he wants to publish them. From what I'm hearing brain to brain, we do have traditional publishers and movie producers lined up. Yeah, like I say, when I'm not worried about publication and I just write the story that interests me, that's on my heart, I do very well. My writing is at professional level and I do very well. Yeah. I'll just tell you this much. The version of Silver Skies that I wrote in the 1990s was my best. Okay, I ruined it when I started rewriting it and stuff. Yeah, it was my best. My writing skills were at their par because I was trying to develop my writing skills to get up to professional level, and I was also in the zone. I'm a combo intuitive outlining type of a writer. I need to rely heavily on intuition to help me to understand the character and get in the zone. So like if I write a scene, then I write the reaction to the scene. The reaction part is where I really need to be in the zone. And what I'll often do is put on music and try to really, and I also do a lot of research on my characters. So that I can really get into them, just like an actor does when they want to get into character. Writers do that too, fiction writers, You say, but you're writing a true story. Yes, and that's why I was having trouble getting into it. Because sex and violence is boring to me. But if I go past the sex and violence, and I scratch beneath the surface to explore why this is happening, then the writing becomes interesting to me. And that's what I'm doing right now with my current project. And I'm liking what I'm reading. Like if I was a reader, I would enjoy reading this. My taste in books is pretty deep. Like when I was a teenager, I loved Tolstoy's War and Peace. Oh, really? I cried when I read the scene where Prince Andrei died. Oh, yes, I was in tears. I love Tolstoy's War and Peace. I read the unabridged edition. I was in very high-level English in high school. Yeah, we studied the Russian novel. We read Fyodor Dostoevsky's. We read Tolstoy. I read all the classics. I loved it. I had a really hard English teacher. She had a reputation in my school that nobody got a good grade in her class, but she was so interesting I signed up for her anyway. I don't think I ever made an A in her class and I didn't care. Kind of like she was to me like what Cecil Pickett was to Brent Spiner when he was in high school studying drama. Okay, I can credit her a lot. Her name was Mrs. Sheridan at Miami Palmetto Senior High. I can credit her a lot to the fact that I am a writer today. She gave me a real love for great literature. Yeah. You say, so who are your favorite authors? I love Jane Austen. I like Charles Dickens. Shakespeare's a little boring to me. It's probably because I'm not into poetry, and all that old English. But I love, and I'm not saying he's a bad writer, but we're entitled to all have our tastes. I like writing that explores like social milieus, like social conventions, and kind of questions them. And I especially love stories that focus on characters who are trapped in social conventions and who feel like, and it stifles their love life, or it causes them to do performances instead of being real. Those are things I like to explore in literature, and that is how I like to write. They say you should write what you like to read. So that's what I'm doing. So the way that I'm making my sex scenes interesting to me, basically, when I wrote Silver Skies, my goal was to write what I like to read, period. I said, if this is not something that I would enjoy reading, then I'm not going to write it. So I don't care if anybody else feels like I do, but if I don't enjoy it as a reader, I said, and besides, Brett seemed to like the real me, so I figured I'm writing it for him, and he would appreciate it. So that's how I wrote it, and it turned out apparently good enough that Spielberg made a movie out of it, starring Matthew McConaughey, based on what I wrote in the 1990s, which was very good. So I'm writing using the same techniques that I used to write Silver Skies, and I like the work that I'm coming out. I did go back after rereading some of my craft books and found some problems that I needed to fix. But yeah, it's coming along good now. I'm doing some character research right now. My characterizations I usually write character-driven stories. What that means, it's a story about a character who's unhappy with their role in life, okay? And they're trying to find a new role. And basically that's my life. Both Brent and I were not exactly happy with our role in life when we met or when we first started interacting with each other, because we didn't physically meet in the early 1990s. And so the beginning of Gail the Complete Series is going to show, it really shows my unhappiness with my role in life, and Brent was a little unhappy too. You might say, I find that hard to believe. He was a successful actor. I will be exploring that. And this is what makes for good writing. When you get past the outward and get into what's really going on inside of the person, and when you have some surprises in there. So here you have a big star. He's reached the height of his acting career. He's become famous. He's got riches. And yet, I do believe that there was a part of him that was not happy with it. And I will be exploring that. Yeah, which is part of the reason he fell in love with me. So anyways, yeah, I've been really busy working on my writing. It's not going to be, I will be doing self-publishing on this. I just can't get into it if I have to worry about that stuff. I feel stifled. Yeah, in order for me to write courageously and transparently, which is the kind of writing that interests me to read, I can't feel like I'm writing for publication. I have to feel like I'm writing for myself. Yeah. That's how I got right. That's the only way I can do your project, Jesus. Any other way, I'm bored to death and I lose interest and I end up doing other things. That's why Silver Skies, I was able to work on it for 3 years because I felt like I was writing it for myself and for Brent. And now I feel the same way about this project. I'm writing it for myself and for Brent. Yeah. Right now, I'm doing a little bit more research on Brent, even though he's living with me and I feel him humping on me all the time. I need to understand a little bit about a relationship that he had with Swoozie Kurtz, which was his last major relationship before he got involved with me. I can't find anything on her online. I remember reading about her in the early 1990s. That interview is gone, but I remember a lot of it in my head because I was in love with him and I was kind of curious what the woman before me was like. And I actually respected him for loving her from what I learned about her. She's not a shallow person. Brent doesn't go for shallow women. You may say, what do you remember about her? Apparently they started dating when they were both Broadway actors and they were living together. So I presume he was going to bed with her and everything. The impression that I get with Brent is even though he didn't marry her, I think he considered it like a type of marriage. He's monogamous. So he was very committed to her. I actually have a picture of him looking at her yeah, it's something that I got in the 1990s. All that stuff has vanished. And they lie about his relationship with her. I don't know why. I guess it's to try to make his fake relationship with Laurie McBride seem legit. They try to erase who he really is to make his clone seem believable. Yeah, so yeah, I think it is important for me to write this story so that people will know what the real Brent is like. Because basically, his clone has hijacked his identity, okay? And kind of erased it. And a lot of people out there don't know what the real Brent is like. They will know when they're done reading my book. You can read my book when Brent decides to publish it. I think the first book in the series, which will be the first 3 stories, will probably be ready within 6 months. And I'm pretty sure Brent's going to go through a traditional publisher. So if you want to get it, you'll have to go through Gabriel Chana Fox News 00 on cable or my website to learn how to order it, or, yeah, they'll let you know. You may say, but you're not going to make any money this way. I'm not writing it for money. I didn't write Silver Skies for money. I'm writing it for myself and for Brent. I can't get into it if I have to think about publication. Why is it? You might say, why does that affect you? It does. You see, when I'm writing for myself, I'm a more courageous writer. Okay? I'm willing to explore stuff that would be forbidden stuff to explore. Yeah, that could possibly get me in legal jeopardy, defamation lawsuits, you know. But if I'm writing it for myself and not having to worry about that stuff or worrying about what public reaction is going to be to what I write, you know, I can write courageously, transparently. So that's how I have to write. Yeah. Yep. My attitude as a writer is to hell with social conventions, to hell with religious conventions. I want to explore the truths that I feel are true for me. Okay? And that's what I did with Silver Skies. That's why I was exploring a quote-unquote adulterous relationship between the main characters and trying to figure out why it is it felt so right to me in the 1990s, because that's how I felt about my feelings for Brent. And I knew this was not something that I could publish through a traditional Christian publisher. And I was also, and yet there were aspects of my traditional upbringing that I didn't want to cast aside either. So I figured this book's not going to fit in anywhere. I mean, it's kind of its own beast. It's not going to fit in with the Christians because I'm kind of questioning some of what they've taught me. It's not going to fit in with the New Agers because I'm sort of embracing some of the traditions and not casting them off. It's just its own thing. And that's kind of what Gail the Complete Series is, too. It's its own thing. But that's the only thing I'm interested in writing. Anyways, like I said, yeah, I can't write a project if I have to worry about social conventions or being in or hip or popular or New York Times bestseller or that sort of stuff. But what's really ironic is when I don't worry about those things and just write courageously, it usually does end up being a New York Times bestseller. So, yeah, anyways, that's what I've been doing, dealing with allergies and finding a way to make this writing project that has been assigned to me exciting, and I figured it out. I can't worry about publication. I just have to write the story that interests me. Like I say, when it gets published, you can find out through Brent, through Gabriel Chana Fox News, or at my website. Because if I got to worry about that stuff, I get out of the zone and I can't write.